welcome back to another episode of NFT Artist Spotlight, hosted by AstroZero. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.
Tonight on AstroZero Twitter Spaces, we have DJ and producer who's bringing music to the blockchain with his release of MultiverseFM, the very talented Luzcid. Welcome. Really excited to talk to you, man, about both music and your NFT project. So thanks for coming out and giving us a little bit of time today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. And, I really appreciate you and your whole community. Aiden has been monumental in, my NFT progression. So it's, y'all have really been family from day one, and I really appreciate that.
Well, thanks, man. It goes both ways. So your project, it's pretty detailed. It took a lot for me to kind of understand what the vision is with the project. Maybe you could explain a little bit and give us like a brief overview to the community so they could kind of get a little bit of a grasp on Multiverse FM and what Carl is.
Most definitely. So Carl stands for a consciousness-aware radio life form. So the idea is that Carl travels the multiverse and records what they see and experience. So like each trip to a planet is recorded as a reverie, or it's a dreamlike memory. And these are the NFTs that will become available. There'll be one available each month for minting. And these reveries will be an audio-visual seamless loop that are around a minute long. And the idea is that, we have a lot of different means of communication and different languages on Earth. But something that I found to be universal throughout my career is music. Is if you hear a beautiful song, it doesn't matter what language you speak, it might make you cry, or it's just cool to see how universal people feel about like music or melody in general. So I thought it'd be cool to have Carl, play back these memories in the form of music. So it's kind of like a score to a movie that is Carl's life and experience. So that way, in the multiverse, no matter what alien or organism it comes across, it's still perceived how Carl wants that emotion to be perceived. And just something cool that I try to bring to my Luzcid project as well. So that is my art inspiration behind it, without getting into utility and all that yet.
So are you kind of writing out some sort of storyline to coincide with Carl's travels? You have different types of, I guess, planets or locations that he's going to be docking at for that specific month, and is there going to be a total amount that he's going to visit before, I guess, he hits the full loop and comes back to his original location?
So right now, there's no set end date to the journey yet. Besides, hitting a new location every month. And it's going to be, so for example, the first one is kind of this surreal, very clean, almost like afterlife feeling, like grassy plains is the first planet Carl visits. And the next couple I have in mind is I want to have Carl travel to like an ice world, and then something very like desert based. And it's really cool for me to be able to produce not only like audio based on visual or video based on audio, but have them kind of be written at the same time. So like as I'm creating this desert scene, I start to create the soundscape for it, and production. And then some sounds I come across while I'm producing make me want to change actually the landscape. So it's just cool to see the two kind of influencing each other artistically, to come up with something cohesive.
Now, have you started on the artwork for each one of the reveries that's going to be released, or is somebody going to be working on it on the side? Are you going to be the person that's doing the artwork? How is that going to tie into the project?
So yeah, I'm doing all of it. I've started on a few of them. I've one completely done, printed, and ready to go. So if it could technically be minted from my artistic vision, now, if I wasn't kind of waiting on the utility and really figuring out that aspect. So I produce everything in Cinema 4D using Octane or Redshift render. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, is combine my love for making visuals with audio, and also having the Lucid project tie in. So this just felt kind of like the perfect opportunity to get to do that.
Now, each month there's going to be a different batch of NFTs that are released, or reveries, what you're referring to them as, and there's going to be 1,000 released each month. Is that how you're going to go about doing this?
Yeah. So the month is I'm 100% doing it monthly. The only thing might change is the 1,000. I still think that's the number I'm going to stick with, but as I go through this mentorship and some of the other utilities fall into place, I just want to make sure that still makes sense.
Now, does this mean each month, from like a technical standpoint, each month are you going to have to release a different smart contract to be a part of the collection that's being released, or is it something that you could kind of go on and develop as it goes?
So the way it's been explained to me and the way I have it envisioned is it's a single smart contract. But it's just I kind of amend to it or add to it. And I know I've heard that being an issue for some people, because then instead of like paying one mint fee to get your entire collection up, once you make a sale on a collection, if I'm understanding right, on like something like OpenSea, then you have to pay a fee to add to that collection. But moving away from the Ethereum chain and really heavy gas prices, as y'all are doing in your marketplace, kind of eliminates that issue, which I think is cool, because it makes it more flexible for collections to do stuff like this, where you don't have to drop the whole collection at once before any purchases are made.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's good to know, because I wasn't really sure how something like that would really work if you have like a progressive project, if you would just tie it into a single smart contract that would get edited each month or amended, or if you would have to do a new release each month. Because I would think if you weren't doing the dev work on your own, you would have to hire a full-time dev on with you at all times to constantly do updates and everything like that. So just curious how that was going to work for you.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that's really good to think about, because since I don't know the language like that, that would be the case. So that's going into it, I was like, all right, I don't want this to be a constantly changing smart contract, because that would suck.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, man, that sounds like a real pain in the ass. I don't really envy you for having to audit the smart contract every single month. So, do you have a set date that you're going to launch it, or a tentative date that you're looking at?
Yeah, so I, in my mind, see around the third week of February, between that third and fourth week being around the launch time. Just because even the program, by the fourth week, it's supposed to have launched based off of like their roadmap that they set me up on, and it is I already kind of started a little bit of ahead of time and have a little bit of a jump on maybe some of the projects who are literally like just getting into like what is an NFT and smart contract, as far as their education. So thanks to Aiden and a bunch of other folks, I'm a few steps ahead of that.
Well, that's great. Because as GI Joe says, knowing's half the battle.
Oh, definitely, especially when this is you're trailblazing, like so many communities are. It's so much just about this education and onboarding and getting people to understand how cool it is, what we're really doing here.
So let's start talking about the utility, because there is a large portion of utility built into this. vision is very big, and that's really what I want to start tapping into. So, if I was to mint one of your Reverie or NFTs, what's the first thing that I would notice that I benefit from your project?
So the immediate benefit, um, the first utility I'm going to get up and working is getting exclusive merch that's available through. It's going to be like a Shopify plugin that ideally lets you, log in just like any other Web3 plugin, and everything in the website will get. I'm thinking something like 35% off, and then there will be some items that are exclusive that I'll do at cost, completely nonprofit, that are just to the holders as well. Because in the scene I work in, and like the EDM scene, people are huge on merch and being able to kind of like rep their artist. But if I go and sell my jersey at a at a show, oftentimes shows take a real like the venues take a really big percentage, which is usually like the margin. You know what I mean? You say your margin's like 30, oftentimes you end up losing that percentage, and then artists like myself, we also then have to pay 20% to a manager. So when people are buying a jersey for like $100, we actually get not a lot of that. So in my mind, I thought it would be a cooler, more direct way to get them merch. Because people, for some reason, they don't like doing online as much as in person. I totally get that, because it's not, you don't see it. You're not like, okay, I think I like this jersey. Like if you're in person, you can physically touch it, feel it, like hold it up. So I'm hoping this encourages getting more people to purchase online and then just feel part of like an exclusive community. And one of the biggest things I want to do as well is I want to do, like, I don't know if it's weekly or bi-weekly production sessions with my, like, the DAO we create for being a holder of one of these reveries. Is I would love for fans to come to a show and hear a song that they helped create, in a way. So for example, I'm working on a song and I'm like, all right, I can either go like really dark and creepy or kind of like bubbly here. What do y'all think I should do? And I'll be sitting in a session with all the holders, either in Discord or some other screen share situation, where I can show them everything I'm doing, and then they can vote together on the direction of the song, on elements that are in the song, certain what vocals say, and not have like give up all creative control. You know what I mean? But at least give them some sort of input, so it's like a DAO collab that then they could come to my shows and experience. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you something along those lines. Like, I know you have different rarities built into the NFTs, and I was curious if maybe you would do something like a person that gets a super rare could somehow maybe do some sort of collaboration, maybe not a full collaboration, but maybe include some stems or something like that if they do their own production, because it's a lot easier. Like I'm a musician myself, and it is a lot easier nowadays to produce music at your house than it was to go into a studio. I mean, I could sit down in my bedroom with Ableton and I could write an entire song by myself, and it comes out like as good studio quality as the Beatles were releasing back in the day, which is it's both scary and incredible. I recently did a collaboration with a guy who I met from El Salvador on Facebook, and we were just emailing stems back and forth to each other, and we wrote an entire EP like this, and we never even met each other. So it was just curious if you were maybe considering doing that with somebody maybe down the line that was a holder for your project, maybe the person that holds the most of your reveries.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. I think stuff like that would be super cool. And I was even thinking, is like for the like super rare holders, I would love to do mentorships too, because I really really enjoy teaching and mentoring music, and I think it's something I personally have a gift for. I think I'm a pretty solid teacher. So I would love to, share that with them. Be like, oh, if you're super rare holder, then maybe twice a month we do a couple hour long sessions where we just, I'll sit in with and do a seminar with everyone. Maybe we listen to a couple of the, students' songs and go through them together. And I can even work on a project. So someone be like, okay, here's how I would mix down your song, and just sit there and do it with everyone. I think stuff like that would be really, really cool, because that's what I want too. Is I want this community to, like, us all grow as producers together. Just like, I would love to see the Discord super active, just with a bunch of, even if you're not a producer, if you're a fan, that's like even better. I love like getting that first reaction from someone who almost knows nothing about EDM, because it's like so true. You know what I mean? There's no bias. Like, they're not coming from a production standpoint or anything like that. So I just think there's validity in what everyone could bring to the table for making music, if you're even a musician or not.
Do you have something, Nathan?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, the use case of this project is always growing, and I just want to say, like, whatever use case we have now is awesome. Like, I can't wait till he touches on some, like, the electronic music utility sides, like, more on that. But I just want to say, like, we're gonna have fun with it. Like, we've discussed, like, certain NFTs that you get have, like, the utility of, like, you get Lucid's toaster out of his kitchen. Like,
yeah, something like that'd be fun. Or play, like, some
Yeah.
video games together, or just, I don't know. Yeah, that like goofy personal stuff.
Yeah, the immediate utility, I'd like to say, and one of the reasons that I'll be, aping into the project as well, even though I'm be part of it, is the immediate connection that you get with Lucid. And as, like, a electronic music fan, however much it costs to have that connection opened up is worth it. Especially seeing that you can sell that later on. Like, you could buy his NFT, become friends with him because you bought the NFT, and then sell it later on, and it's basically you got paid Lucid's friendship just to own it, which is huge for a lot of people.
So, are you going to be offering like the ability for people to remix any of the music that you put out through the platform?
Yeah, 100%. I haven't decided the rarity on this, or if I'm just gonna blanket open it up to everyone, but I'm gonna make my stems very transparent for holders moving forward. And then I'm gonna do holder exclusive remix competitions, for, like, like real releases, to be like on, my remix EPs and stuff like that on, like, Spotify. So yeah, I think that's going to be a one that's definitely sought after from producers, because stems are always just, fun to have, or even entire Ableton files, right? That would definitely be a more rare one. But yeah, that's like, to get someone's ALS file and kind of reverse engineer their mix down stuff is pretty valuable. And I'm all transparent with that stuff anyway. Like, I'll teach it. And that's another thing I was thinking about is, for lessons, I generally do like $100 an hour. And this NFT, we were talking somewhere in like the $40-50 range. So already, you could get a group lesson for half its initial value just by owning the NFT. And that's like, it's already paid for itself, not considering like the, tons of other stuff that we plan on doing for holders.
Well, I mean, the good thing too is, like, you could get an Ableton trial pretty cheap. Well, I think you get them for free now. I don't even know, but you might be able to get a 3-month trial with Ableton. I don't know. I have Live Suite 11, so I don't really remember when I first got the trial. But that could be something, like, even if somebody just wants to pick up a trial version and give it a try, and then you could shoot the stems over to them, or they could learn it. I mean, you could probably even partner with Ableton if it really gets huge. But
Yeah,
I'm getting a little bit of myself.
Yeah, that would be. And another thing is education editions. If any of y'all have EDU emails out there, do not sleep on the software that you can get discounts on, because there is so much of it. Like Cinema 4D, for example, you can get for like $1. It's normally like, I think like 800 or something for the 6-month period they give it to you for. So yeah, if you got an EDU or have access to one, don't sleep on that shit.
So if somebody, let's say they remix one of the songs, or if they kind of mix things up with the stems that they get through the NFT, and then they send it back to you, would you consider um, minting that particular song on the blockchain and then doing some sort of royalty split with the person?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that would be that would be really cool. I mean, it's essentially like kind of releasing their song on, Spotify, except we don't have to. I guess some of the royalty would still be through there. I got to look at that because there are some like Audius, for example. You know what I mean? Like platforms that are self-sustained that you can play off of that don't give like 98% of your play value elsewhere. Give you like 0.001 pennies. But yeah, I would definitely be willing to do that. I think that would be really cool.
So how do you feel about platforms like Spotify and SoundCloud? Do you think that they're kind of screwing the artist over a little bit with the amount of percentages that they take away from?
I know it's very, very difficult to sustain off of getting paid just those royalties. It's definitely set up in a way where like 90% of the touring artists could not survive without touring. Um, so either their financial model is set up just in a very unsustainable way where no one gets paid, or someone's getting paid, but I'm not getting paid. Or a lot of the artists. So, for example, like 1 million plays on Spotify is somewhere, I don't know, just to give a wide range, like $3,000 to $6,000 for 1 million plays, which is that's a lot of fucking plays. As
Yes.
if you had that many unique people go to a show, a show of like 1,000 person. It's like if you sold out 1,000 person venue, it's pretty safe to say that you probably walk home with around 4 to 5 grand. So it's like, that's one show. So it's just crazy. Shows make, 10 times more than royalties. And so, yeah, it's just totally not sustainable.
I think this is why we need education more so than anything as far as blockchain goes, because there is going to be a little bit of a tough entry barrier for newer artists. It's a lot easier for somebody to blow up on SoundCloud or on Spotify, as opposed to somebody that's brand new and they're just like, I'm going to mint on the blockchain and I'm going to be a blockchain artist, because there's a lot behind it, and you also have to educate your audience. See, that's the hardest part about this entire thing. It's not just the artist has to be educated. You have to make sure that all the people that like your shit have to know how to set up a wallet. They have to understand how NFTs work. They have to make sure that they're using the right contract address so they're not getting some bullshit song that somebody else released with your artwork on it. And are you kind of thinking about trying to partner with some sort of educational platform, or getting people that are trying to educate people as far as crypto and NFTs involved with your project as well, to kind of be a pioneer here and help people in the music industry?
Yeah, I think that is a huge, probably the biggest part of it right now is I think if people saw this utility in art, it would be a no-brainer for a lot of them. But so many of them have to get over this whole like NFT Web3 hump. And also just because of like the boom lately, I have several EDM fans who have muted accounts related to NFTs just because they've experienced such a shill side of it without seeing the positive like communities and the projects that are done right. You know what I mean? They've only seen the like absolute spam madness from it. So they're just like, yo, I want nothing to do with NFTs. So I honestly think that's a really good idea. I mean, even, Chronic would be wonderful. I'll throw all the people his way. You know what I mean? Because I love what he's doing, and the vision of Chronic Cats and the metaversity. Because I think that's going to be one of the biggest proponents moving forward in the next coming years, is getting people educated about this in the correct way. Not shilling.
Yeah, sometimes the shilling is a little bit overboard. I have to admit I'm guilty of that myself at times. But yeah, we definitely have to. I think it's an education first thing that we really have to be focused on because only so many people are going to understand it until it gets mass adopted anyway. So you're just going to be shilling to the same fucking people over and over again. It's going to be like a giant loop.
No, exactly, and that's why it seems so intense too. Is because it's just the same, like, little circle over and over, and they're too afraid to even, like, go below the surface of the water to see this. Like, no, this is on the surface. It seems kind of crazy, but once you get into these projects and actually do the research and get that's like everything. If you go on SoundCloud, it's the same way. You know what I mean? There's 10 million songs. You know how many songs I have to go through before I can find one to put in the set? It's the world is very saturated with all kinds of art right now, so it's just the research is inevitable.
So are you still whitelisting for your project?
Yeah, and that's all done. I'm just handpicking through interaction in the Discord and seeing people who are, involved and active and enthusiastic about the project. My goal is I don't want like if I don't want people jumping into the project based off of like hype or they think it's the next like blue chip or any of that stuff. I'm literally just more interested in building like a DAO or a community where we can, I don't know, feel like a part of something together. Like it doesn't have to be huge. I just want it to be like tight and high quality. So that's where I'm not necessarily pushing to get the Discord to 10,000 people yesterday. So that's why I'm doing like hand picking the whitelisting because I'm just spending a good amount of time in there, seeing who's interacting and who's actually would benefit from being a part of this. Because I don't want people either like to invest all this time and then be like, oh, I don't even really like EDM. Like this might not be the project for you then, which is totally fine.
I just wanted to say I put the Discord link up top in the nest if you guys want to join it.
Yeah, join the Discord if you guys could. There's only maybe a little bit less than 200 people, so just go in there and be a little bit active and get whitelisted. So
yeah, pretty much.
So, are you planning on releasing exclusive music just to your holders that aren't going to be available on other platforms like Spotify or anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. And that's another, big part of why I wanted to do this is I write so much music, and I'd say probably 70% of it never sees the light of day. Just because it's maybe not strong enough to be a single, but it also doesn't fit in with the theme of an album. I've got so many tunes like that I've been playing in sets for years that go off that just there's a lot that goes into strategically getting the best music out that's going to kind of do the best for your project. But I feel like a lot of this stuff isn't like throwaway music either. A lot of these songs are kick ass, and I would love for people to have them, be able to remix them or learn from their stems. And it just I'd like to see them get a little more life than they currently do, and then be able to share that with the community. So that's 100%. Um, I probably will be releasing more music on there than through the original channels.
It sounds like I kind of do it the same way you do when I make music. Everything that I make, I record it and then I date it and kind of do a little description of what it is. And I would say 3/4 of it I'll never use, but I might revisit it 6 months down the road and be like, maybe this will work somewhere. Or I'll chop it up a little bit and then try to paste it in somewhere to see if it fits. And it seems like it's an ongoing battle with my brain and what I try to produce.
That's good though. It's kind of like you got like a checks and balances system going through. That's some of like the most talented producers that I really look up to. Do exactly that. They write a song a day. They see what they can get out in an hour, and then will go through maybe 100 of these songs, pick the best 20, and then from those 20, boil it down to 5 that they're actually going to work on, and then you just get such a distilled, like, awesome version. Whereas if you didn't do that, like it take people 10 years to write 100 songs if they finished them all, and then you might be like missing your gems. So I think that's a really good process that I've tried to adapt more in the last few years.
So your NFTs, they're going to be broken down into three categories. You're going to have commons, you're going to have rares, and you're going to have super rares. Those are the three that you're going to do, and is that what you're sticking with, or are you going to do additional ones other as well?
So I'll be honest, this is where this is the most up in the air for me right now. This is something that I'm gonna look for kind of a lot of brainstorming from the team in the next few weeks as we get all the utility hashed out. Just because I don't want people to feel like they have to like ape into the project to get the majority of the utility. However, I do want to reward the people who do with some really cool extra stuff. So it's more about deciding what I'm going to offer, from the common to the super rare, and feel like it's fair for everyone. And I did last time you had actually asked a question about being able to merge commons into rares. And I originally said that I wasn't going to do that, but the more I think about it, the more I think I would kind of like to move in that direction. My only concern is with like super rares, I want to do some sort of utility to like be on my guest list for shows or like even music festivals. I think it'd be really, really cool to like bring a fan out to like a festival, and then I could go like meet him there and we could go like chill at a set together or something like that. I think that would be really dope. But I want to make sure if I'm promising this that it's possible. And then with all the COVID stuff and festivals getting canceled, I just don't want to offer like 10 of those slots and then have everything get put on pause and me not play 10 festivals for the next like 2 years. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure that I'm delivering on what I promise. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. I know that you have like a lot of meet and greet and raffles to win festival tickets and join at live concerts and stuff that you're doing. But COVID kind of throws like a monkey wrench in that because we don't know if things are going to get shut down or not. And I was wondering if you were going to maybe do some sort of replacement for things if that happens, or maybe if I was thinking just myself, like spitballing, like things you could do if that gets shut down. Maybe you could do like an exclusive metaverse concert for people. I think that would be something that you could do kind of cool for your holders. If you can't get to a live show, at least you could have them do you could do it through the metaverse. That would be pretty badass, I think.
Oh, 100%. Like, even at the very beginning of COVID, I built a VR chat world, and me and Liquid Stranger played a set there. And it was going to be like a monthly thing that was different. It's kind of like Carl, but we made a world for it every time, and we're going to do shows there. And then it was kind of I don't know, mixed uptaking, because it was as we started to do it, as shows started to come back and as people started to get a little burnt on, a live stream every day. So we kind of put it on pause, but I mean, I love the idea now. It's funny. It was like we were trying to do the metaverse stuff before, all these metaverses kind of became the thing. So now I was like, oh, this is like VR chat, but way cooler in my mind. So yeah, I'm super down to do that. And I've already, like, upon the initial minting, I'd love to, or at least for after a few months, a lot of the money I get from that is going to go into purchasing metaverse land for exactly that.
Didn't you already play a concert in the metaverse?
Yeah, I played Tie-Dye Ninja's Dojo. That was super awesome. And I actually me and Martin already have a second, like hour, 15-minute down tempo mix that we're originally, like I said, we're going to do in the VR world that we kind of are just saving, and we're going to finish once he gets off a tour. And that we're going to be doing in a metaverse. Still haven't decided yet, but yeah, maybe by then, because I think he gets off mid-March. So yeah, it's actually, we could be doing it in the Carl metaverse. So wherever we build our spot.
Have you talked to any other producers and DJs to do any collaborations, or is it so far it's just going to be you and you're going to go from there?
Yeah, I haven't talked about working with any other artists on any of the art side of stuff. I have thought about doing some shared utility, um, even possibly, well, obviously with like the Wakan artist first and foremost, because maybe it's too early to speak on it, but whatever. But a lot of the stuff that I'm thinking about doing with the Luzcid project, if when it goes well, or with the Carl stuff, would love to make that a roadmap for a lot of the other Wakan artists to do the same thing. And it kind of what gets me into talking about a utility from the being a holder of Carl's is these Lucid credential tokens, which is going to be kind of like frequent flyer miles in a way for going to shows. And I haven't decided if I want to do it for like spending on merch and stuff, but 100% for attending shows, almost like there'll be like airdrop, stub or like ticket stubs. So it'll be like, okay, you went to Lucid show at Cervantes in Denver on February 17th, and it'll be a show token. And then once you collect X amount of these, you'll be able to cash them in, where you'll send them to me, and then I'll burn them, and then I'll send you back a token for like whatever you want to redeem it for. There'll be different rewards. So maybe 10 tokens is you get a festival ticket or a free merch. And that's where, if festivals, shows, all that stuff kind of like, shit hits the fan, but you have these tokens, I'll allow people to switch those tokens out for tokens of equal value, maybe for like a one-on-one 2-hour lesson and stuff like that. That way people aren't stuck in their rewards. I'll allow them to exchange out for other rewards, obviously, if it's impossible to redeem your reward. But through that kind of airdrop token system is how I would like to do that. And like Aiden even mentioned, like NFCs, we could give out to people as they scan the ticket in at the door. You hand people a little like Lucid sticker that has an NFC on it that lets you scan to receive one of these show tokens.
Yeah, I think that's cool if you could kind of incorporate the real life show element right into the Multiverse FM. Yeah, because I was thinking like you go into the show, you have your ticket, everybody has their smartphone with them anyway. You just would maybe scan a QR code, because the only people that are going to be able to scan a QR code are the people that are physically there. Scan the QR code, it would open up a DApp that would link to your wallet, and then you could just have the tokens airdrop right into your wallet. And I guess it would have to kind of match with your physical ticket that you have for the show, or it could link to if you're going to buy online tickets, or however it might work. But yeah, because then it's like proof of purchase. I don't know,
exactly.
Trying to spitball here and figure out like a way to do it a little bit easier, but QR codes or however you were saying, it seems like a very
NFC chips. They're very small RFID chips that have like close range communication. You can just tap your phone on it and it'll load up. You can put your NFTs on there and everything.
That would be very cool.
My only worry about doing the because QR codes was our original thing. I was like, yo, I'll just put it up on the LED screen when I start my set and be like, all right, take out your phones. But I was like, yo, someone's going to take a picture of that and they're going to drop it on Twitter in about 30 seconds. So that's where Aiden was like, yo, they're these NFCs. So I was like, oh, cool. But yeah, I love the idea of, because then if this idea does, expand to other artists, then maybe you could redeem X amount of maybe like a Lucid and a champagne drip, their tokens for collab together or something to that degree. Obviously I don't want to force artists who don't want to work together, so they would have to like agree to be part of the token program ahead of time. But I already have thought about that, and even like I kind of like to see what some of these projects are doing with serums. So I think it would be cool if like you had like a Lucid serum, and if another artist was participating and they bought like one of their song NFTs, you could use like a Lucid serum on it, and I would have to, remix that song, and then remint the remix would be like their, using the serum. Just some like ideas that's, obviously not going to be immediate utility, but just kind of what we're thinking for down the road, just really cool ways to involve the community in what's happening.
So you're going to be releasing these NFTs once a month. Now, are you going to have, like, let's say this starts in, let's just say March 1st. If it starts on March 1st and it runs through the month of March, and then your next drop is going to be on the 1st of April, are you going to allow people that bought the previous month to be whitelisted for the following month if they want to purchase it on that one, or is it just going to be first come first serve?
So I would love to do some sort of white list for, being a purchaser. I'm not sure if I want to do everyone or if it puts you in some sort of raffle, and then your odds of, receiving a win in the raffle is based off of how much you bought in, or the cumulative like rarity holdings. If you have like a super rare and a common, it's better than like 5 commons or something like that. But I just want to avoid having like 1,000 people buy in and then them just being auto whitelisted to the next time, and it then being kind of a closed off community, which is why, like, because I've thought about it, I was like, man, at the end of a year, that's going to be like 12,000 NFTs. I was like, that's a lot. A lot of these projects cap at 10, but that's because a lot of the projects, their cap is based off of them wanting to create this like rarity and then this second sale market, which honestly isn't the focus of why I want people to buy into my project. I want them to buy in because, one, they think the art's really cool, and two, because they want the benefits from this community. I don't want them buying in because they're like, oh, this is, one of X amount that will then go up based off of this or that. Because I feel like that side of that almost like gambling S side of it is kind of what turns a lot of people off to it. And I don't want people like having to worry about, is this like a gamble or not, or if I'm going to get my money back in this. I want this to be very obvious value that you're going to get out of it.
So since COVID started, has it cost you a lot of festival and club gigs?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like some of my biggest ones of the year, some of my like dream festivals, um, got canceled and were put on hold for a really long time. COVID made it really, really tough because not only is it a huge financial proponent in a lot of our careers, if you're a bass music artist, the music you make is to fuel the energy of a room. So to test your songs and to kind of like our feedback loop to make us better and kind of know if we're doing something right is being able to play these songs out. So if you don't get to play the songs out for like 8 months, like, I think these are cool, but I don't know. I've been playing it in my freaking home studio all year. So
Yeah. So do you feel like it gave you more of a push to get this project launched? And because you do have a lot more time on your hands, right? If you're not going out and you're gigging constantly, you must be kind of getting a little stir crazy at home. Is that what kind of got you into, I'm going to do an NFT project? Or was it, we got to find out some sort of supplementary income here? Or was it a little bit of a combo?
So, actually, it was very. I got into the VR stuff because of the stir craziness and just missing being connected to a community over more than just like Discord or Twitter. Actually be able to like kind of pseudo hang out with people. But the NFT interest kind of came out of nowhere. It was after Imagine Fest got canceled. I was super bummed out. So I went on Twitch and was like, yo, I worked really hard on this set. I'm going to play it for everyone. So I feel like y'all did, or I should put some use to this. And someone wanted to donate, but didn't know how to donate. So they asked for my wallet and told me to make a MetaMask and sent me a bunch of NFTs. And I was like, what the hell are these? And the dude explained to me, and actually they're really cool communities. One of them was a tie-dye ninja. So I joined the Discord and just started, hanging out. And I was like, wait, I know a lot of these people through the scene, and I had no idea there was so much crossover between EDM and the NFT world. And just I saw artists of all kinds, and just really just fell in love with this whole community, and kind of what I've been looking for like a long time, is just something that's organic, that you all support each other because you believe in it, not because you're getting a lot of likes on Instagram or a lot of retweets, or so much of the EDM booking stuff goes through metrics that are social media based, that you can't even get to your fans unless Facebook, you have to pay how much to just reach your fans. So I love that the NFT communities are based on Discord, and there's no Discord algorithm. If you're in a Discord, you see everything that's on the Discord. So this is just kind of a match made in heaven. But coincidentally, it is awesome that there is a money potential here that could be very liberating for a lot of artists. It's just great.
Yeah, I had mentioned to somebody the other day, when it comes to like the metaverse, you don't necessarily need to move to a major city anymore to be like a big attraction. And you don't necessarily have to live in an area where shows and concerts go all the time. You could be some teenage kid in Cambodia or some teenage kid in Tasmania, and as long as the artist wants to go and play a show on the metaverse, you could go see it. Like some of these places, I talk to people and they're like, because I live right outside New York, and they tell me how lucky I am because so many acts come through where I live, and there's never a shortage of it. And then I think of people that live in like Montana, where they might have one concert come through there, and it's maybe once every 5 years, and now we have the opportunity where somebody could actually see their favorite artist. And we have, on the other flip side, an artist doesn't have to move to Los Angeles to become a hit. An artist could live in South Dakota if they want. So I think it's just really exciting for me. I feel like I was born in the wrong era, and I should have been born a little bit like later on, but it's all good. And I just think the whole metaverse thing is like super exciting as far as music and stuff goes. I just hope like a lot more people start getting involved in this, because there is a shortage of musicians in the space right now. It's really like mostly different types of art projects, and not nearly as many musicians as I would like to see.
Yeah, it's I love how just transparent and open it is for artists, like you said. Like this, it's not about like what you look like. Actually, most of us don't have no idea what each other look like in these communities, and not about how many followers you have. It's about the mutual respect you show to people, and then what you bring to the community that kind of gives you that value, which is just super cool, because that's what I've always I don't know thought that every community would be like. But I'm sure, as many of like it's like 90% of corporate America, it's just life just ain't fair. So it's cool to just feel like I'm a part of something that just feels a little more fair for once, and gives everyone a more equal opportunity without having to live in one of these places, or be held back by stuff that you otherwise have no control over.
Isn't it weird, like up until recently, you weren't looked at as a business professional if you had tattoos on your forearms? Isn't that fucking strange?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's such a trip. It's yeah, and that's why I don't know. As much as people are like, "Oh, the world's going crazy," I see stuff like, I don't know, just seeing how far we've come, and I'm like, no, actually, I feel like some pretty cool people are getting in some cool positions of, I don't know, power, I guess I want to say, but just influence. You know what I mean? You're seeing people now at the top that are good people and doing it for the right reasons, and just trying to build people up, which is cool.
So have you decided on the floor price of your NFTs for the project yet?
So I want to do it somewhere around the $50 range, $40 to $50. And that'll be just for like the common mint for a single month.
I think that's super fair. Are you going to go on ETH, or are you going to go on a different blockchain? What have you decided on that yet either?
So the initial minting, since I'm working with Mintery.co, is they develop on something called stacks. which is basically bringing like dApps and NFT smart contracts to Bitcoin. So I really like Stacks because the NFT marketplace for me, initially minting it's fiat, it's USD. So my fans, I don't have to worry about getting too deep into the crypto stuff with them. They could literally purchase it, with USD right off the marketplace. So that was a hurdle I really like to kind of, at least for getting people initially onto the project. And then they're cross-chain also. So as I think everything's going to move in a more cross-chain direction, I think it's important that, to be on something that lets you go that direction.
So we're talking with Luzcid here about his project MultiverseFM. If anybody down bottom wants to come up and ask a question, just raise your hand. We'll bring you up to the box. If you're in the box, which looks like only ready, if you have a question, feel free to ask. I was talking with my brother. We're both pretty heavily involved in cryptocurrency, and we were talking about how it really has to be a gradual take for people to really get this mass adopted. I know for myself personally, when I first did my first ever wallet transfer, and it took, 10 minutes or so to transfer between wallets, I was fucking nervous, man. And I think that's something that a lot of people are gonna be a little bit scared with, because when you're moving large amounts of money between wallets and stuff like that, there's definitely like it took 10 minutes for me to move like 30 grand, and I was shitting myself a little bit, and I was super nervous. So I think it's cool how you're doing it, where you're kind of like slowly easing people in, where like you said, they could use fiat in order to get involved, and I think that's what we're really going to need in order for people to feel a little bit comfortable. I think they're going to have to take a little bit of the baby step approach before they fully jump in, and then maybe do something like Coinbase, and then maybe decide to go to Uniswap or PancakeSwap, and then kind of go from there. So I think it's a really smart idea how you're going about it.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And it's because I really thought about the target audience here. Had this been something that was aimed more at NFT people in general, I probably wouldn't have made that my primary decision. But because my target audience is people who are going to be very new to this, and the last thing I want to do is sour them on NFT community, because it just screws the whole community over as a whole. So I want to be a great first experience that makes people look into other projects and explore this world more, because I really think there's an awesome crossover for music fans and NFTs. I just think they kind of need to be guided there a little bit, just like anyone being introduced to this space.
So what have you been using to market? Has it been pretty much word of mouth as of right now, and just trying to get people into Discord? And are you going to have the website up and running soon as well?
Yeah, so I've just had word of mouth, because I think timing is going to be really crucial here, as far as when I make it very available and kind of in the face of my whole fan base. Because this is something that they're not going to understand conceptually at first. I want to have the website up and running, and some of the utility almost previewable before I start like shouting from the mountains at everyone, because I don't want to get them excited early and be like, "Oh, this is coming soon," and then already lose their interest and be like, "Oh, okay, so this is like all those other NFTs that are it's coming sometime with some utility, maybe." No, I just want to hit them with very solid, concrete, utility and visual, like having the website, everything up before I start going too crazy. Just because, like I said, I want to over deliver and under promise, and give these people a really good first impression of the space.
What's the biggest festival that you ever played at, people count wise?
I think one of the biggest crowds, man, maybe Lost Lands is close to like, I think they have like 30+ K there, and I did one of the biggest stages there. So I'd say probably biggest crowd I ever played to is like 20,000+, and then I had a bunch this year that were like 8 to 12,000.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to think because you have the microphone, so it really shouldn't be hard to get the word across about the project. That's what I'm really trying to get at. So I don't really think you have to really go full force marketing on it as far as spending a shitload of money in order to get the word out because you already have a viral audience that's going to show up wherever you go anyway. So if you tell the people, I'm releasing this project, it should be like a 1, 2, 3, pretty cut and dry as far as getting the project up and running, right?
It's gonna be
Yeah, and
crazy. It is gonna
yeah,
be crazy. I just want to say that. Like, just he's got connections in the music space, and now he's getting connections, like big connections in Web 3.0 as well. The collision is gonna be wild. Sorry.
no, I love it, brother. But yeah, it's really crazily timed with kind of where I'm at in the Lucid roadmap, if you will, because I've been doing stuff for like 10 years now, but I'm doing my debut album this year and then doing my debut headline tour also later this year. So it's like if there's any time to have Lucid utility, now is literally like the dopest time. So it's cool that I have all this awesome stuff happening alongside this launch because imagine I was like I don't know, like fizzling out or something, or didn't have a lot of dates. Be like, you can get show tickets, but I'm not playing this year. And you're like, oh shit.
I think you're the third producer that I've interviewed. We had Wookie, and he's doing his Wobble Bug project, and then we had DJ Scion on a while ago, and he's trying to do something. I think he's like doing something with Dead Mouse now, and then we have you working. So, um, I think I think the EDM community is kind of um, being a pioneer here as far as blockchain music goes. I think it's going to be the easiest and seamless transition as well. Because you guys, you're not really like tied into like these huge contracts like these big ass rock bands, and you're stuck with Warner Brothers, and you can't do shit because everything has to go through your label and legal and stuff like that, right? So, aren't you guys? Do you guys feel like you have a little bit more independence as far as how the whole process goes with this?
Oh, 100%. I was explaining this to someone actually just the other day. Um, it's very rare to have an exclusive agreement in the EDM world. Like you'll see, if anyone does exclusive, like I pretty much only release with Wakan, but that's entirely by choice, just because I don't know. I feel like we work really well together, so it's like don't fix what's not broken. But if I wanted to go over and shoot deadbeat some music or never say die or stuff that I didn't fit Wakan, then they'd more than happily let me. And there's people who do that. So it's really cool the label freedom we do get there, where it's not like signing your life away and losing 80% of royalties. I know most of the deal we get, it's either 60/40 or 40/60 in either direction. So,
80% at best if you're working with a big label.
yeah,
I mean, you're working a crazy. That's a crazy contract. It's usually 84% at best is what they get.
yeah.
You're getting 16%.
Oh, yeah. See, that is, I feel for them. So
That's if That's what if you've worked like. That's having your lawyers work out a percentage. Like that's getting a good deal out of Warner Brothers is 16%.
So yeah, I'm glad that it definitely gives us the freedom to then be more explorative in projects like this too. Like, I mean, especially just Wakan's, it's just amazing for me because I mean I live right down the road from Martin Liquid Stranger and Loper, who he's both of our managers and the Wakan label manager. So it's just as easy as being like, hey, can I do this? Just and they're like, oh yeah, sure, bud. So it's really I love the freedom and even getting them involved in the space too. It's yeah, we definitely are in a very blessed spot compared to how I see some other artists and their deals.
I got a couple more for you before we wrap it up. Did you play any instruments growing up?
So I did not. I've always been a big like computer nerd, math guy. like all of my musical stuff it's music theory is all patterns and algorithms really. So that's kind of how I look at music. Like when I was learning this stuff, I remember it used to be like, I don't know, I thought it was like a drunk party trick at the time, but I would be like, okay, give me 15 minutes. I won't listen to the song once. And then at the end of it, I'll play it and it'll be good. And most of the time it was something decent, but that's just kind of like how my brain worked. Now I've moved away from that a good bit. I, try to play in during keyboard because when you do stuff like pattern and all MIDI based, you tend to see yourself repeating the same patterns. And instead of it being like this intuitive feel, it did feel a little bit more robotic and programmed. So I'm currently, the last couple of years have been moving away from that. But initially, no, I never played an instrument.
You got a lot of like that wobble bass in your songs. Do you use Serum?
Yeah, I primarily was on Serum for I'd say the majority of my career. Now I switch between Serum, Vital, and Harmor. I've really been liking this year, even though that's been out for a while.
Yeah, Serum's fucking crazy, man. That's such like a good program.
Yeah.
Like it took me a while to figure out how to really like optimize like the program itself, but I mean like that thing it's just crazy how you could kind of like move the wavetables and everything around, and I don't know. I really dig that, but I use mostly like hardware synthesizers when I'm doing stuff now. I'm kind of I got away from bad addictions and I went on a synthesizer addiction, and it's costing me a lot of money throughout my life, but it's well worth it.
Oh, dude, I freaking love hardware stuff. Yeah, eventually that's something I'd really like to dive into, but yeah, luckily Martin Liquid Stranger has like an amazing collection that he lets me play with. So, but yeah, man, it's nothing sounds like hardware. Just the tonality, and it just feels so alive. Especially the ones that are like tube based and stuff. Is I don't know, really cool.
So if you weren't a DJ or a producer, what kind of job would you see yourself doing right now?
Maybe programming. I honestly really, really like programming. There's like a certain like art and elegance, and I don't know, when you finally get something to compile and look, it almost feels like magic or something. It's like you put the correct string of words together, you could do some pretty crazy shit. So I don't know. I've always really liked that. Or teaching. I really, really like just like teaching and having that like interaction, seeing your students grow. Like I've even had some of my music students, go on to do pretty cool music stuff. So that's, I don't know, that feeling to me is like one of the best.
All right, so we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. My last question for you is a year from today, where do you see this project, and what makes you most excited about it?
A year from today, I see the project as I hope the community at this point or at that point will be involved in a ton of other music projects, but this will be kind of like their home base. They're like, oh, I found out about NFTs because of Carl's, but also I'm part of Champagne Drips and Liquid Strangers, and I would just love to see at that point the whole community thriving for everyone, kind of how we're want it to be. But I'd love to be a great like entry point there and kind of a home base too for everyone to just come back to. And yeah, I think it'll also just add to the shows and make the shows and just the whole Lucid community so much more tight knit, where people are meeting and collaborating and growing and learning just based off of being a part of that community.
Well, I really want to thank you for coming out and talking to us for the past hour, Lucid, and AstroZero is going to be around very soon. So if you have some plans down the line, we'll be available, and you don't have to worry about those gas fees like you would elsewhere. So maybe we could.
100%. I would love to definitely work with y'all on something, and the ideas and possibilities are endless. So it's inevitable.
I agree, man. And when you start doing, VR concerts and stuff, shoot me a DM so I could toss on this Oculus and check the shit out, because I just picked up an Oculus a couple days ago and I've yet to use it, but I want to get started with this thing.
Oh, definitely, dude. Even we'll have to get into some Oculus gaming too. I'm always looking for people to run around and shoot things with. So if you're into that, or anyone else in here.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. So, yeah, thanks again for coming out. If you guys could, follow Lucid here on Twitter, join his Discord. All you have to do is be active on his Discord to get a whitelist spot. The easiest fucking whitelist on the planet. I wish you the best of luck. Don't be a stranger. I have spaces running every day of the week pretty much now. It used to be 5 days, now it's 7 days, and I really enjoy doing it actually secretly, even though I tell people I hate it. And yeah, man, thanks for coming out, talking to the community, and yeah, stop by whenever you want. I'm gonna join your Discord server, and I'm gonna start getting active on there so I can get a whitelist spot myself. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Like I said, I really appreciate y'all, being my day ones and continuing to be super supportive and open. And, I got nothing love for the Elon One and AstroZero team. And, yeah, I'll obviously we'll be been hearing her a lot more.
All right, what's up, Aiden?
So I just want to refresh people. The Discord link is posted up top if you want to join that. MultiverseFM is going to be a really cool project. It's going to be a stepping stone, essentially for the EDM community and everything they represent. If you go up and follow MultiverseFM, you can get updates on what we're doing, and please join the Discord in our community. And we look forward to spreading, this vibe, a lot everywhere. And I just want to thank Lucid for, being that hub for the EDM community, because it's really important. I feel like to get the community kind of digitally connected, especially concerned with the pandemic and everything going on. I think it's really important what he's doing. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming, and we support all of you, and thanks for supporting all of us.
Thanks again, Lucid. Have a good night, man.
Hey, thank y'all. Y'all take care. Talk soon.